Good afternoon, Berea, and welcome back from spring break. I'm Hajar Mushtahi.
And I'm Ola Miller.
And our top story this week, the SGA has been experiencing some internal conflict surrounding the Board of Residents' recent passing of 2 articles of impeachment against Student Government Association President LaDouceur Bardwaj. What's happened so far and who all is involved? Our reporter Dakota Saylor has more on this story.
The week before spring break, the Board of Residents passed 2 articles of impeachment against SGA Executive President LaDouceur Bardwaj. I spoke with BOR Chair Montana Height and Mr. Bardwaj to discuss what this means and what to expect from this process.
So some students from the student body brought articles of impeachment to me in regards to our Executive President LaDouceur. There were 4 of them in total. 2 of them passed and 2 of them failed.
This does not in any way mean that the BOR believes me to be guilty or responsible. This simply means that an investigation should occur. It does not hold me accountable yet at all.
So 2 of them did pass. The second article and the third article. The second article involves a case regarding Ash Dadwani, who was allegedly removed from her position without due process. The third article is a response to that. It is a claim that he has lied to the Senate and the Executive Council, for lack of a better term. He has withheld information, allegedly, and general cases of malfeasance and nonfeasance.
So some of the words they use, I'm not sure if the evidence they provided matched with, I'm not sure which word the evidence they passed matched with.
So malfeasance is the wrongdoing by a public official. Nonfeasance is a lack of doing the right thing by a public official. So the definitions are similar, but they're not the same.
Mr. Bardwaj has an issue with the nature of these meetings and how they were handled.
For example, the minutes are missing or do not include the exact votes matched with the residence hall president voting in that favor. So the attendance, for example, and who all were present, which hall voted which way, and also we can see from the minutes that these motions were brought in, the 5 motions for these different 4 or 5 articles, but we don't know who brought in these motions. So which member of the student body or an investigative committee or the BOR itself brought in the motions. So yeah, there's that. Then the minutes mentioned the evidence, but then the evidence initially was not presented to me, which I asked for later, and I received a packet of evidence. Then again, the testimonies are not completely included, or they're not included in the entirety in the minutes. So these are some questions I am trying to get answers for, because this will help me prepare my defense. Because if I know what I'm being charged with, because I'm still a little confused, if I know what I'm being charged with, I'll be in a better position to exculpate myself.
I reached out to Student Life Associate Vice President Gus Gerasimides for a response and received a CC'd email sent out to several SGA members. It denounced the impeachment process as inappropriate and said that it will be halted until the Student Life Council can determine whether or not it was constitutional. This is Dakota Saylor for Berea College News.
We here at Berea College News will keep you updated as this story develops. Moving on to community news, our very own Brett Arthur sat down with former Berea College staff member turned City Councilwoman Emily LaDouceur to discuss her reasoning as to why an ethics committee is important here in Berea.
Like any town or city, Berea has a city council that helps govern local affairs. One such development within the city council is an ethics committee spearheaded by Emily LaDouceur. I sat down with her to get more details about why the ethics committee is necessary and why it might be pertinent to Berea College students.
So the ethics committee I proposed was sort of a follow-up to last year. If people remember, there was a vulgar and sexist and misogynistic post made on Facebook by one of our councilmen, and there was a large public outcry, and this isn't in response to that necessarily, but the council meeting that followed that, almost every single council member said that we need to revisit our ethics code. It needs to be updated. It's not been updated for like a century or something, they would say. And that was kind of like the out, right, to address the issue or to make a statement. Oh yeah, I think it's time we need to address our ethics. And so this is me just following up on those promises by those folks, and it does need to be updated. Part of why there couldn't have been more done, or there wasn't more to look at in terms of this councilman's behavior, was because it's not written. So not that it would necessarily make it easier to oust a councilman or a council person, but it would at least set some more specific parameters for moving forward. Students should care because who you elect today matters tomorrow. A lot of these folks that were, especially here in Kentucky, Governor Bevin, Andy Barr, these people started at local levels a lot of times, and they don't just shoot right to governor, most of them. So it's important for them to invest. A lot of them will stay here after graduation. They may not feel that way now. But like for myself, I graduated in 2004, went to EKU for grad school, graduated 2006. Then I moved to New York for 8 years, and I came back here. So you're not just here for yourself, you're here also for the students that come after you.
Some in the community had brought up the fact that there is already an ethics board within Berea City government. So I asked Councilwoman LaDouceur if she would elaborate on the difference between the ethics board and the new ethics committee.
There is an ethics board. It's 3 community members who volunteer their time to sit on a board, and they are limited to the ethics code that the city council creates. They don't create the code. They just investigate based on what is available to them. And right now, the code really focuses on financial disclosures and contracts, basically. So they're kind of limited in their scope. And so I assumed that the reason why the code wasn't updated months before, when they said it needed to be, was because there wasn't a dedicated body to do that. The ethics board is not intended to write legislation, local legislation. So the ethics committee, and my original plan for the ethics committee was supposed to be an ethics and social issues committee. So update the ethics code first, we'll have that on the books, but then move towards some of the social issues, which to me are ethical questions for the council. So like addressing homelessness, addressing opioid issues, things that we don't have. Everyone likes to talk about how important it is we do something, but there's no dedicated body to actually address those issues. So that was the original intent with the committee versus the board that already exists. And hopefully with this committee, which is made up of, at this point, 4 council members, the city attorney, and the 3 ethics board members, will create a new ethics code that then can be given to that board to execute and use for their investigations or their things that they need to do.
This time last year, things were looking grim for the Berea College speech and debate team. Due to the sudden departure of Dr. Billy Wooten, the students were initially told the organization would be put on the hiatus. However, the team worked to ensure that they would not only compete this year, but they'd achieve great success. Hajar has more.
Though the Berea College speech and debate team has had a rough start at the beginning of the year, it has quickly turned out to be a huge success.
So this year was pretty significant in the history of the speech and debate team because up until this year, we were ran by a faculty member, and it was actually an official class here at the college. The departure of Dr. Billy Wooten from the college last year, though, kind of put things at a halt for the debate team. We all as a team deliberated and pulled together to eventually come up with this awesome document proposal to present to Dr. Brown and to Dean Chad Berry, to where we would become a student-ran organization.
This debate season was quite successful despite the fact that we were a student-run group this year. Earlier in the season, the president of the forensics team, Zach, and I were able to win the Cleveland Classic, and to top it off in our final debate, most likely, my partner Jack and I were able to win the state championship.
Looking back on the year, I'm definitely proud of what the team has accomplished as a whole, and it really has been a team effort.
One of the big things about this year that was very unique is that we didn't have Dr. Wooten here to be a coach and an instructor. So with the student ran model, we had an alum by the name of Eric Hoxton. He became our coach for this year. And in terms of instruction and things like that, it fell on the shoulders of people that were already on the team. That actually paid off wonderfully because we've had a pretty successful season thus far.
So since we became a student-run organization, there's been a lot more focus on the relationships within the team, because before, when we had Dr. Wooten, we had a firm faculty presence in the room at all times, and we congregated to him. And what we've seen is, since everybody banded together last year and advocated to get a student-led team together, we have had Dr. Brown, who's been amazing for the team and been great at giving guidance to the student leaders. But even past that, the students have had to commit themselves to operating democratically and choosing what's best for the team and what's best for each other. So I think there's been a huge increase in camaraderie, and I think that the support that we now feel for each other is part of what's helped us be successful this year in terms of taking home trophies from tournaments and building up the kids who are going to take over the team next year.
The speech and debate team is currently running well as a club. That's specifically thankful to the good leadership we have, specifically from Zach, who's our president right now, and Christian, who's our captain, and Kylie, who's the speech team's captain. And we have a lot of committed members who are willing to put in the work without getting paid because they truly love the forensics team. And ultimately, I believe that because we have such passion, and also because of the fact that we're willing to work, and if the school keeps us funding, I think we could keep on chugging.
If you're thinking about joining speech and debate, here are a couple reasons why you might want to. One, it's great for preparation in the classroom and the workplace because we do 25 different events and they all have a very specific format. Everyone on the debate team can get up with about 15 minutes of preparation and give 25 minutes worth of a speech. Everybody on the speech team can do roughly the same. 2 minutes, for instance, for one event is their prep time, and then they get up and give an 8-minute speech. So everybody on the team is really well equipped to express themselves in a public space, and not just in front of one person, but in front of 5, 10, 15 people.
This was Hajar Mushahi, Berea College News.
Congratulations to the Berea College Speech and Debate team on your state championship victory. We at Berea College News wish the team future success as they continue to represent Berea College. You know, Hajar, I bet I would be pretty good at debate.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because I bet Brett Arthur has more on this story. Let's send it to Brett.
Well, folks, Zach and Connor are back at it again with our new Happy Hour segment. This week, they go head-to-head in a game they like to call the Wheel of Misfortune. Let's take a look.
This is Berea College News.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.
Hey, everybody! We got a video! Got that video for you! Wheel of Misfortune! I got to sneak into food service without getting caught by Miss Pat.
And I have to steal a full desk from Draper on the 3rd floor down the main stairs. Whoever loses has to spin the Wheel of Misfortune.
Mm-hmm. Which we made ourselves.
Yeah.
Got it! That's not how we're gonna do this.
I'm calling it no points.
I'm calling it points.
He got caught.
No,
She
seriously.
saw him.
No, she.
underneath
But
it.
yeah, she didn't say anything.
I'm
Like,
calling
and
it
that
no
was
points.
the point. Is
There's
she
no
had
one.
to say something. She didn't
She
say
saw
nothing.
you. She looked at you
She
over
may have
the
saw
counter.
me, but she
was
didn't
like this.
say nothing. She didn't say, "What are
She
you
was like
doing
that.
on
She
the
saw
ground?"
you. That's caught. That's no points.
No, but she did
That's no
not
point.
see. She did not say anything.
Let's go to the ref.
Half a point. Woo! Half a point, baby.
Well, I guess it's my turn then. Boom.
This is a desk.
That's success.
Where do we go from this? We don't get. What? Where do we do it?
Okay, so I know I lost the bet. I know I lost that challenge.
I win.
Just because of the ref.
I
Like, it was
win.
all ref. Like,
I
technically,
win.
we both know I won. But,
Whatever.
But,
Yeah.
if I saw on this Speedy Rewards card with 16,454 points, doubling nothing, one more challenge, winner takes all.
What's the challenge?
Coin toss.
Let's ask the ref.
Wait, why am I here again? I'm not doing this. I'll allow it. Okay, so for tonight's coin, we're using a commemorative coin from Illinois. Connor, which side do you pick?
Heads.
Zach, which side do you pick?
Tails.
Okay.
Tails. I got you, bastard.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be awesome tomorrow.
How are y'all cleaning that?
Yeah.
I am not.
Mustard! How do they come up with this stuff? To see more Happy Hour, keep tuning in right here at Berea College News.
That was certainly unfortunate, but it looks like that's all the time we have for this week. I'm Hajar Mushtahi.
And I'm Ola Miller. On behalf of Brett Arthur and the rest Berea College News staff, have a wonderful yellow mustard-free weekend.